So Chef Noah, we were having a conversation, and he was saying to me that most persons overseas them appreciate Jamaican culture more than, especially the food culture, more than Jamaicans themselves, because Jamaican chefs in Jamaica, they mostly want to cook like Italian dishes, French dishes, and the list goes on. And not trying to master their own cuisine, and pushing that to the forefront more than, these big dishes across the world, these exotic dishes. When our dishes on a whole is a big brand worldwide. Even like jerk chicken. Jerk chicken is like one of the biggest meal you can think of. And couple years ago, I think about 2 years ago, I was reading this thing where ackee and saltfish is the second best national dish in the world, according to Discovery Channel.
Right. But you know what? Like I second
So
that.
look at that.
I second that.
And guess what?
Go ahead.
The number one dish in the world is cheeseburger with fries.
Listen, you can't beat that. This is something, and the cheeseburger and fries is mainly the number one dish because of programming. You know what I mean? It's advertised. It almost every it's quick. First of all, it's cheap to make. You know what I mean? It's quick to make, and it's filling. You know what I mean? It's fatty. Yeah. It has a lot of starch, and it's a lot of salt. And these are things that our diet craves. You know what I mean? So the fact that you read that ackee and saltfish is the second best. Okay. You have to understand, and I'm gonna say something, and this is coming to mind right now. I'm telling you, these drinks that you're making, if you subtract the Jamaican concept of the dish itself from the drink, and market it as a signature drink that you make without putting this ackee in it, or telling people that, sometimes you write in a menu and in the heading you'll put the name of the main ingredient in it. If you substitute or take out the main ingredient name and the same drinks that you're making and you market them, you just come up with some names for them. I guarantee you, if people try them without knowing what's inside, they're going to love it, because I can tell you there's things that people eat on a daily basis and they have no clue what's inside of it. Frankfurters and all that. They don't know what's inside of it, but they eat it and they love it. You know what I mean? And it's because of the perception, the presentation, the cost effectiveness of it. And these are things that people use to value what they consume or what they buy. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's very important.
Well, it's kind of hard to take it out, and not mention it.
No.
Allergies. I'm just allergies and stuff like that.
No. I'm not saying take it out. I mean, don't tell them. I mean, just take it out in the main name of the dish, of the drink. Sorry. I keep saying dish because I'm used to talking to chefs. You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to explain to you is that these drinks are, I would love to taste it, And now one day when I come to Jamaica, I'm definitely going to try to come see you so we can try some of these drinks. But they're brilliant, man. And I feel like you can go somewhere with what you're doing, because I don't think there's nobody else going the extra mile. And maybe there is. I haven't seen them yet. But I don't see nobody going the extra mile the way you're doing. And like I was telling you earlier, I'm actually writing a book on Jamaican desserts. You know what I mean? And it's going to be authentic Jamaican desserts. It's going to be desserts that you would typically grow up and see, because the whole concept of this came around when I was working in a hotel and somebody said to me, "Oh, why don't you make some Jamaican desserts?" And I started thinking, and they're like, "I never seen no Jamaican dessert." And I started telling them about stuff that we eat. They don't know what it is. The only thing they know is jerk chicken, oxtail, and ackee, and Jamaican patties. That's like the four main things people say to you when you tell them you're Jamaican. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we do have Jamaican desserts, but I don't think they promote it as Jamaican dessert. Because when you think about like peanut brittle, what we call it peanut cake, I think that's more of a dessert. Like what's that name? What's that one with the coconut?
Coconut drops.
I can't remember the name, but it has this red and
the greta cake.
Drop. I would think that's a dessert, a greta cake, right?
Right.
So I think that one Even like Bukono, what most people know it as blue jars. That I would consider that as a dessert, but they don't promote it as dessert. They just promote it as a dish from Jamaica. Or I don't know what to call it. What they call
Right,
it.
right. They
It is, I think it's a dessert, though.
it is a
What do you
dessert.
think?
It is a dessert. As if it's sweet, it's a dessert. You know what I mean? But like I said, just like what Noel told you, these people in Jamaica, they don't respect and appreciate what they have because they don't understand the value of it. You know what I mean? It's like you're dating a girl, and because you're used to her, at some point you're gonna think, oh, well, this is my girl. After 2 years of dating this girl, you know what I mean? It's gonna seem like everything is about her is gonna be just natural to you and normal to you. But when she step outside and somebody see how beautiful she is and tell her, oh my God, you have a nice shape. You don't see that because you're seeing it every single day. So it's not as shocking to you. And it's the same thing with the food. It's the same thing with the culture. It's the same thing with everything down there. The people who are there, they don't appreciate it. The June plum, if you can get some June plum in America right now, you know how much they sell in a pound? $10 a pound. Soursop. Soursop is selling $6 a pound. You understand what I'm saying? If you can get Tinkinto, if you can get any one of these tropical fruits in America, it is expensive. I'm telling you, man, because people are craving these things. If you realize now everybody eating Irish moss. You know what I mean? These are things that you can buy for like $100 downtown Kingston. Over here, you buy a pound of Irish moss is $40. So you understand what I'm saying to you? But people there in Jamaica, you would not know these things. You will not know these things because you see it every day. It's grown every day. You see it on the tree like Otaiti apple. When Otaiti apple season, the people throw these stuff away. They stay there on the tree, and the only company I see making drinks from it is I think True Juice. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you, people need to open their mind. You know what I mean? And I wish a lot of the younger people can travel and see how much people are looking forward to the culture. We have the most healing food. We have the most soulful food. Caribbean people have the most flavorful
That's true
food.
because just to add to that, is like because I work. I don't know if I said it earlier, but I work for Appleton Estate,
Right.
which is under the portfolio of a group of companies, which includes the distribution of Hennessy in Jamaica, Magnum, which is a top drink in Jamaica, Ray Rum, which is one of Jamaica's #1 rum, and a couple other brands. So I'm going to do like this webinar where I'm going to use Jamaican fruits or ingredients to create a cocktail. And that's the whole idea of it, because I want to show the world that, these fruits are these Jamaican bartenders. They are much creative as any bartenders in the world. So I even did, I did like I took jerk sauce, because you don't want to hear about Jamaica. Jerk is the first thing. I do the jerk sauce, and I use jackfruit and make a syrup, and then I just turn it in a jerk jackfruit daiquiri. And I think a lot of people will love that.
Right. But yeah, I'm gonna give you an idea. The June plum, right? You know the June plum.
Right.
If you, and this is something that I tried the other day, and I'm gonna give it to you because I realize you're a very creative guy. So listen to this. I don't know if it's stupid or crazy. You could give me an idea what you think about it. So the June plum leaves have the same flavor as the June plum.
Mm-hmm.
If you think I'm lying, whenever you get a chance and you see a June plum tree,
I believe you, because I used to chew up when I was young, I used to chew up the leaf, and my mom used to use the leaf and make tea.
So you can use the June plum leaf to make a cocktail, and you can muddle it like a mint. The only thing about it is the leaves are more fibrous, so they won't break down like the mint leaf. But you will get the same June plum flavor without adding June plum, because if you use a June plum in a drink, you have to blend it, and when you blend it, you got to add water to it, which is gonna reduce the consistency of the flavor. You understand what I'm saying? So if you use the leaves, the branch, and you muddle it, you're gonna get the flavor out. So you just like you're making what you call a mojito.
Yeah.
So just like how you made a
Mojito,
mojito,
yeah.
you just muddle the leaves, put some lemon juice, whatever you want to put in it, and you muddle it, and you're gonna get the same flavor like you're biting a June plum, which is taking out majority of the water what you would put
All
in it.
right,
Yeah, I got
I'm gonna definitely try it. I'm
yeah,
gonna try it.
yeah.
Are you usually make a syrup or something? I'm gonna definitely try it. I like that.
There's so many other stuff that I would love to see us as Jamaicans. Even all right, there's this thing called thing is big on the market now. Oh man, what's the name of the thing? It's an oil, castor oil. You know castor oil, right?
Oh, in Jamaica, people, man, I know castor oil. I even know the fruit, but in Jamaica, when I was growing up, castor oil was a very big thing. In Jamaica, people don't even, if you ask somebody now what is castor oil, they can't even tell you. But on the international market, very big. But Jamaica, we overlook it.
And then that's what I'm saying. Majority of the stuff that the world craves, we have it growing in the backyard. Merengue, in our merenga, as some people pronounce it, it is growing there, and people don't even use it. And you can use, all right, the merenga has a flavor. If you put it on your food, you can put it in drinks too, you know. You can mix it with leaf of life.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And these are the things that we are so, that's what makes us stand out, you know, because every culture in the world has specific things that they embrace. You know what I mean? Then you find that because we're out of many one people, we tend to take
yeah.
everything else except what we have. You know what I mean? So you see chefs nowadays, everybody cooking pasta. You know what I mean? And majority of the pasta they're making is not real. You know, majority is synthetic pasta. You know, you want real pasta, it's made of 4 ingredients or 3 ingredients. But they buy the one in a little pack and everybody's a chef. Everybody's throwing it with cream sauce and whatever. You know what I mean? But come on, man. When are we going to start making other stuff? You know what I mean? Some embracing some polenta or
But then again, what they can also do, like what I do in the mixology world or the bartending world, I tend to take these international drinks or classic drinks and then add my Jamaican twist to it. So if they are making pasta, I think they can probably do a jerk pork pasta or so if it's not done already, but
right,
add your Jamaican style to it.
right.
You don't leave out your root.
Definitely. But like I said, man, I really hope that you can push yourself and continue doing what you're doing. Because I feel like this definitely can be something that stands out, and not just on a grab your attention way, but on a level where you be like, okay, listen, we're changing the narrative of because majority of the drinks, when you go to like an all inclusive, this is bunch of liqueurs that they put in the red, green, and gold, and you know what I mean, all these things, and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? There's not really a lot of people there, and most of the drinks are not we don't call it now. Natural, you know? Everything is processed, everything is big, like manufactured stuff. When are we gonna go like somebody, but most people don't know this, you know. Most people don't know that majority of the stuff that they're making are pre-made stuff. The pina colada, pre-made. You know what I mean? And Jamaica has so much
I'm
coconut.
glad that. Hold on. The thing about it, so it's like, I think it was like sometime last week, roughly like I got a message like 4 a.m. in the morning from one of my bartending colleagues from all the way in UK. So he messaged me like, yo, what's that you guys doing down there making pina colada with pina colada mix? What kind of foolishness is that? So I was like, I don't know what they're talking about because I was wake up out of my bed and this just attack me. So then he sent me the video now, and I was like, oh, so it was this school in Jamaica where the instructor is teaching the bartender to make a pina colada, but she's using pineapple juice, pina colada mix, and coconut rum. So I was like, probably, I was explaining to him, so probably she's just showing them that way instead of the classic way because it's more cost effective and it's more easier. She's just showing them the different levels, right? So I explained that to him, but he didn't like that because he's like, you guys have fresh fruit, just use it. Stop using these bottled stuff, And I agree with him 100%. Because he's in the UK, he doesn't have access to these fruits, and we have it, and we're using these artificial stuff, you know.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's just, and I ain't gonna lie to you. Like when I was there in Jamaica, I maybe wasn't even paying attention to a lot of these things too, you know. But I used to still, because I grew up in the country. I grew up in Portland, so you know, like everything around us is there's farmers and everything is fresh and everything is natural. You know what I mean? But now when you step outside of your comfort zone and now you're exposed to the rest of the world, then you realize how much you had and what you had, how important it is. You know what I mean? Because he's over there now. He probably thinking like, man, I can't even get a coconut. You buy one of them little coconuts, you're probably gonna spend like $2-3, you know. And then people have coconut just falling off the tree down there, and nobody need. I don't even think people in Jamaica use coconut no more. They probably buy the little powdered one. I see somebody making a drink with the powdered coconut milk.
Yeah, they don't use they use they use the coconut powder even when they're cooking, because I am assuming that you probably grew up where you used to see your mama or your grandmother used to cut up coconut and grate it and use it in rice and peas. You're not seeing that anymore.
No, no, man.
It's just this coconut powder.
And that's why I'm trying to tell you, we are losing the whole foundation of our culture. Like in another 10 years to 15 years, you're going to find that majority of Jamaicans are consuming American, Italian, French, Guyanese, Portuguese, Spanish, all of these food except Jamaican food. Because they don't understand what they have. They're chasing strawberries and blueberries and then they throw away everything else. And then they say, "Oh, I'm hungry. We ain't got no money to buy nothing." You know what I mean? But it's what it is, though. But I want to ask you, how important you think personality is for a bartender?
Well, personality is like 80% of bartending. Bartending or to be a bartender, because it's hard to get, it's hard to train a good bartender to have good personality, but it's always easy to train somebody with a good personality to be a bartender. So 80% of being a bartender, you have to have good personality. It's a must.
Right.
Because if you don't have that, trust me, anything you create or any drink you make will never taste good.
Right. So basically, you're saying that your personality goes into your drinks.
Of course, definitely. Because a cocktail is not just putting some ingredients together into a glass or blender or whatsoever. It's all about a whole story, a whole feel, a whole ambiance. It's everything. It's not just making a drink, because those things add to the cocktail. The aroma, your personality, your smile, the environment, everything adds to the drink. So it's not just taking stuff and throwing it into a glass. No. It's more than that.
Right. So what are like some of the challenges bartenders face on the job?
Well, some of the challenges that most bartenders, I would say, would face is, guests will come to the bar, hitting on bartenders, or let's say this is one of the weirdest things. So like they'll go to this bar, like say they'll go to a bar somewhere, a bartender create a special drink for them. And like they think every bartender have this I don't know, this mindset that they can make this like that bartender make it and then we should replicate. Sometimes we don't even know what that bartender created. So most bartenders hate that. One of the biggest thing in Jamaica where I see, and I think in some other countries might experience it, where bartenders are underpaid. Right? That is a great deal in Jamaica, especially for a time like this in COVID now, where most bartenders are out of a job. It's kind of rough on them, right? Some turn to other professions, some struggling, and some have a job. Like I'm one of the lucky ones to still have a job. But yeah, those are some things that the bartenders are facing. And speaking from a bartender standpoint, some of the bartenders are to be blamed as well because there's a lot of opportunity out there, but they're not professional. Like I am one of those bartenders where a lot of brands will use me, juice brands like as I'm an ambassador for Home Choice,
Home
which is
choice.
like right, they produce lime juice, stuff like that. And they won't use certain bartender because either they're gonna steal something, they don't show up on time, or they're just doing some stuff that is not professional. So sometimes you cannot blame certain people for not working with them. So that's the next thing for bartenders. And then again, some persons just think that they can just take up any ingredient and just throw in a drink and then just say, yeah, I'm a bartender. And it's nothing like that. Because you have to know, they don't tend to study the roots or the whole culture or the whole making of a bartender. They just want to be a bartender, just like a snap at a thing.
Right. Oh, that's so I got another question.
That is in Jamaica.
No. Well, I want you to speak from your perspective. You know what I mean? You don't have to speak in general. Just on your experience. And this leads me to my other question that I want to ask you is: do you think people in Jamaica respect bartenders? Is bartenders like something that people, like us? Go ahead.
I would say yes, and I would say no. Whenever a person comes out to drink, that's when a bartender is respect. But on the other hand, no, when, like, say, for instance, a guy said, or I would say someone said to their parents, I want to be a bartender. They kind of look down on the profession in that sense. So no, and yes and no for respect for bartender.
Because one of the reasons why I asked that question is,
But then again, it's all about, it's on another hand, is how you sell yourself. Because if you continue to focus on, people don't respect bartenders, so I'm just going to do whatever, then nobody will respect you. So I've met some persons who look down on bartenders, but after a couple conversations with me, I guess I changed their mind or something like that. Because bartending is something people take serious, because someone is giving you something to digest, how important that is.
That's very true. That's very true. And one of the reasons why I asked that question is because I realize Caribbean people in general have the culture of Caribbean people in drinking is plastic cup, rum and coke. They are the Appleton and whatever drink they mix with the Appleton. It's not really, well, based on what I know, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. Like when I was growing up, I never really saw a bartender. The only bartender I know is when I go to the little corner rum bar. They call him a water hole or whatever they call them now, where people, it's just a little young girl in there and she just pouring the rum in a cup, one shot of rum in a cup. If you pay for one, you buy a Red Stripe beer or whatever. It's not necessarily, somebody in there making drinks. You know what I mean? And when I got to the culinary side of my life, that's when I start realizing that, this is a different type of vibe. So I want to know, like, is the culture of people going out and having drinks? Like I said, I was born in Portland, so there's not really a lot of that type of vibe. But in Kingston, is this a thing that people do where they decide, you know what, let's go and have a drink, and they're going to have a couple of martinis? Is this a lifestyle over there?
Well, definitely you have, I would say, so definitely, I would say you have two types of bars. You have the community bars where, it's that, classic water hole, as what you call it. And you have the upscale bar where, you have variety of different spirits, or it's more sophisticated. But the lifestyle in Kingston now is more going towards, I would say, the sports bar. You do still have the regular bars, but definitely Kingston is more becoming I would say, like, you go on the North Coast for like a pretty drink or something like that.
Right.
That is Kingston, right? Kingston nightlife is all about restaurants and bars. but it still doesn't reach the level that it should, because people do want cocktails, but the idea of a cocktail for them is something like a frozen daiquiri or a pina colada. And I think we need, as bartenders or bar owners, we need to try to move the mind frame away from that and show them that there is a lot more about cocktails in general. And I think that will also help to, you know, take the mindset that people stop looking down on bartenders. I
Right.
think it will kind of shift the mindset and look a career.
Right. Because that's true, because there's a lot of people out there that when they go out, like I'm telling you the honest truth, the first time I went to like a restaurant, I didn't know what to order at the bar because I'd never been there before. I'm used to just going and getting a cue of rum or a bottle of rum. You go to the party or whatever. So now, whenever somebody goes out now, they want to feel sophisticated. They want to feel like they're a part of the elite. So they're going to only order strawberry daiquiri, a pina colada. These are the drinks because these are drinks that are always on showcase in movies, in commercials, in these are just the marketable drinks that people promote. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why people would choose to order something like that because they don't really know nothing else.
Well, that's so true. That's so true. That's so true. And that's why I created my platform, Cocktails Jamaica, is to showcase what you can do with ingredients, how you can take food and turn it into cocktails. So that is that is the idea behind why I created Cocktails Jamaica. Because I want Jamaicans to move out of the mind frame of looking down on bartenders and sticking to the norm, because there's a lot out there to consume when it comes down to cocktails.
Right, definitely. So I got a couple more questions before we go, but I want to know, like, where do you see yourself in another 5 to 10 years in your space of bartending?
Well, definitely, I will be in the space of bartending. Next 5 years, I think that's when I'm going to release my book, because I'm working on some recipes. I'm working on the whole idea of it. But what I am doing now is building that online influence. So whenever I release that book, definitely it's going to be a hit. So a book in 5 years.
Right. And what would you do in 10 years other than your book? Would you like to open a bar for yourself?
My bartending school. After I open the bartending school, that's when I'm going to open the bar. Because if I want that good bartender or great bartenders, I think I should train them first before I can employ them to get the result that I want. So definitely school first, then the bar and restaurant.
Right. I got to ask this question because it's something that I see. I have a couple of friends who are bartenders, right? I want to know why all this extraness when y'all shaking what you call that thing that you put the drink in?
Oh, the shaker.
Why do you have to be?
Oh, the shaker, the cocktail shaker. Yes. I guess I would say every bartender should have their own signature shake. I have a couple signature shake. It's just to add fun to creating cocktails. Because cocktails should be funny. You have to just stand out. I just think that's the idea behind it.
That's one thing I always because even if a bartender is teaching you how to make a drink, they always go so art. They're so extra when they shaking it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, can I just do this? You know what I mean? Can I use a whisk? You know what I mean? But like you said, it's about a finesse and it's about some of the flair and aspect.
But look at it. Look at what's that guy named Salt Bay?
Right.
Everybody take like salt and you just sprinkle it, but he did sprinkle it like that, and it made him a huge celebrity chef. So just to add a little flair to it, so you can stand out.
Right. So I'm gonna ask you like a couple of questions, quick questions. Anything that comes to mind, you can just say it. It's probably like 4 or 5 questions.
All right.
So I want you to tell me, and
Go
I know,
ahead, go
I know
ahead.
you're with Appleton, so you're probably going, I don't know. But anyways, I want you to tell me what's your favorite dark rum that you've had.
My favorite dark rum to have is Appleton 12-year-old, which they rename it the rare cask. Why? Because of it pairs very well with dessert. So if you have something with coffee or chocolate or anything like that, goes very well with it. And it's a luxury rum, so you can have it neat or ice cube if you want to. But
You
we
said you can
recommend
have
it
it what,
neat. So
neat?
the 12-year-old is definitely my go-to drink.
You say you can have it neat?
Neat. So that means without ice.
Oh.
Neat, right?
Oh, that's the first time hearing that term.
Right.
Neat. Okay, that's good. That's good. I never knew that one before.
Yeah, man. Neat.
All right, I want you to list 3 fruits that you think would pair very well with Campari.
Well, the first one that's easy. Pineapple, pineapple, orange, and grapefruit.
Definitely. I like Campari and mango. That's a good blend for me. I never had it with pineapple.
Yeah, that's a good blend.
I never had it. I had it with not pineapple, mango, orange, and grapefruit. I actually have a dessert that I'm making with Campari right now.
All right, so there's this drink called Jungkook Bird, which is a very popular drink, a classic drink. So it's Campari, rum, pineapple juice, simple syrup, lime juice. You can try that, and then you will see if you like it, or you can just try Campari and pineapple.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that one because, like I said, I like to drink. I got a bottle of Campari right now. I don't know why we're talking about Campari so much. I don't know. It's off lately. I'm drinking it because before I used to think it was really bitter. You know what I mean? But now my palate is growing a little bit, so now I can deal with the taste that it has. It's not really bitter now.
That's just the thing with Campari. So the tagline for Campari is bitter, better, sweet. So each time you drink Campari, the sweeter it gets.
That's true.
Oh, I must say, I tried Campari with coconut milk and a little simple syrup, and it's really good.
You know what? The funny thing that you said, coconut milk. The dessert that I'm making actually has grapefruits, coconut, and the Campari. Those are the 3 main ingredients in it. So it pairs very well with coconut. Very, very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I tell you, man, I actually build a little lab in my house. So I have almost everything that I need, almost everything that I need equipment-wise and ingredients, because I constantly try to train myself on new flavors. I taste everything. I don't eat everything, but I taste everything. You know what I mean? A next question I want to ask you.
Okay.
Right? Oh man, that one slipped me now. But I had another one. What's your favorite drink? All time. Favorite drink of all time?
My favorite drink of all time is daiquiri. And why daiquiri? Daiquiri is like one of the easiest drink to make, but the easiest drink to mess up. And if a bartender cannot make classic daiquiri, which is rum, sugar, and lime and ice, of course, I don't trust that bartender.
So what makes it difficult?
Lime is easy to get. Sugar is easy. It's the balance. You have to learn how to balance the citrus with the sweetness, with the dilution, and also the rum. So once you can balance those 4 ingredients, you have the perfect daiquiri. Yeah.
Okay. And the last question that I'm gonna ask you, right? Have you ever tried this Tia Maria? Do they still make that?
Not in Jamaica. They don't make it in Jamaica anymore, but it's still on the market. I tried it years ago, but I haven't tried it. I can't even remember the flavor of it, but I know it was like one of the number 1 liqueurs. But I haven't tried it in years.
You know, one of the rums that I really love to bake with is the Blackwell rum and this other, I think it's called Karuba.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, the Karuba is good too.
Karuba is a spice rum, right?
Yes, it's a dark rum, but it's more on
Yep.
the sweet side. You know, it's almost it's not as strong as, like, you know what I mean. I don't know how you categorize those though, because I know you have liqueurs and then you have rums, because the liqueurs are normally sweeter, right?
Yeah. So a liqueur tends to have like it's made from fruits or herbs or spices, and it's more like it's more sweeter than I would say a liquor. So liqueur is more for a flavoring agent. When a liquor is just for strength, or sometimes liquor might have a little flavor to it, but liquor is more for flavor. So it's
Okay.
more on the sweeter side.
Okay. Well, I like to use those two. They pretty much they go with chocolate. They go with creamy stuff, cheesecake. Anything with dairy in it goes well with
Yep.
those rum. You know what I mean? It pairs pretty well with chocolate. Like I said, I like the flavor of like the Blackwell rum with chocolate. But what is like the go-to?
Yeah, man. Rum is a pretty good rum.
Yeah. So what is the go-to white rum that you would use for like if you're making a drink?
Definitely Ray rum.
Ray and nephew, right?
Definitely Ray rum.
There's
Ray rum.
something.
And
There's
if I'm not
something.
using,
Hold on 1 second. So there's something about Ray and nephew rum that it stands out to every rum that I've ever had. You cannot compare Ray and nephew white rum to no other rum in the world. And I've tried a lot of white rum. You know what I mean? The Ray and nephew rum has a more like it's almost like it's like a cane flavor. I don't know how to describe it. It's really difficult, but it's distinct, and whatever it pairs with very well. And then if you don't pair it with the right thing, it just like really stands out with flavor. You know what I mean? So why do you like the Ray and nephew rum so much?
you see, one I can say I grew up seeing Ray rum, right? At that time, I didn't know any other rum. Not saying I was drinking from a younger age, but
No, it's
I
okay.
grew up seeing Ray rum. And you know, Ray rum is very versatile. It's not, we don't only use Ray rum for drinking it. We use it for we and what we would call setup. We use it for like, foundation whenever somebody is building a new house, they sprinkle the ground with Ray
So it's like
rum.
a
They
spiritual
use it
guide
in
to
cooking
it.
as well.
Right. It's used for everything.
Right. So that's why Ray rum is one of my go-to rum. And then, as I said before, it has this distinct flavor that stand out from every other white rum in the world.
Right. Man, I don't know, man. Like I said, these are some of the things. And I've tried a lot of drinks, but I think the simpler stuff, and maybe again it's because the way I was raised and the things that I'm used to. But like your rum and milk, which is crazy. But that flavor of white rum and cow's milk, it's just like a perfect match. You know what I mean? The white rum and Pepsi. The white rum and Pepsi is like out of this world. And then when I used to go extreme drinking, this is when I'm deep in cooking and I'm doing 16 hours a day. I do the white rum and Magnum. I don't know if you ever had that one.
Yeah, man.
That is a
One.
drink.
That's one.
The white rum and the Magnum drink is like the perfect drink to get you right there real quick. And then once you get there, you kind of tone it back down. You know what I mean? And then when you're losing it, you hit it again one more time and bring it right back up there.
And that keeps the energy pumping.
Definitely. Whenever back home, when I was home and I used to go to the parties, man, that's how I used to hit it. White rum and Magnum. But yeah, so let's talk.
But if I'm not drinking a daiquiri though, I would tend to drink white rum and coconut water. That's it.
Oh man, you there? Yo, let me tell you. So that's why I said the white rum is just so. One time I went, you brought back my memory. I went rafting on the Rio Grande. And you know the Rio Grande in Portland, right?
Right, yeah.
So it's like 3 to 4 hours from the start to the end where the water meets the ocean. So it's like 3 to 4 hours, somewhere around there. So me and a couple of friends, we went on a little trip rafting, and we had like so much liquor, man, like rum, Appleton, everything we had stacked up in a little cooler, and we had some coconut. And there was a lady that cooks on the river. She cooks like halfway in the journey. So you'll do like an hour and a half, and then you stop there, you eat, and then you continue the rest of the journey. And we was drinking the white rum. So we had cut the coconut because the guy was giving us the tour. He got some coconut. We cut the coconut and he poured the rum in there. That's the first time I had that. And I was like, wow, this is like, it's just refreshing. It don't feel like you're drinking alcohol. And that's the danger of it. It's almost like you're drinking coconut rum. You know that, what you call that one? Cocomania.
Especially
that Cocomania with the pineapple juice.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're drinking that, you don't realize, You don't realize that it can really affect you until you're on the ground.
Yeah, man.
But
because it's so sweet and it's so nice and yeah, man, it gets you.
Right. But yes, man, I really want to thank you again for coming on to my podcast and having this conversation. It's different from what I'm used to, or the typical conversation that I'll normally have with chefs, but it's interesting, and I really, 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 really want to thank you. And I really want to tell you, continue to do what you're doing, because I see this thing that you're doing going somewhere. You know what I mean? You may not, I don't know if you see it, but I see it. You know what I mean? So tell the people about your YouTube channel and tell them where they can find you.
All right, so I want to say thank you for having me on the channel again. I'm sorry, thank you for having me on the channel. So you guys, you can check me out at Instagram at Cocktails Jamaica. So that's cocktails with a Z, cocktails and Jamaica. And the same thing for YouTube, right? So YouTube is where I create culinary and classic cocktails, that is the history of the classic cocktails and the culinary cocktails. I take like traditional dishes from the Caribbean or wherever in the world I choose to. I'm mostly focusing on the Caribbean now. So I take those dishes and turn them into cocktails. So you can subscribe, you can like it, you can share it with friends. They can always find me there. And if you're in Jamaica, I work at Joyce Finn's Appleton Rum Experience in St. Elizabeth. You can find me there as well, all right?
All right. So it's the Pastry Beer Podcast. I'm your host, and we're out. Pastry Beer TV.